Hide your online activity and location with Virtual Shield VPN. Your 20% off code and your free trial are in the description. If you guys enjoyed this video, subscribe to the channel, give it a thumbs up, and share it with everybody you know. I don't ever expect videos like this to be well received, partly because all our lives we've been immersed in a particular way of thinking, and the ruts run deep in the road on which we currently travel. But I'm still going to give it a shot. Words are weapons, and they can be used like any tools, for good or for evil. We're all aware of cliched uses of terms like terrorist versus freedom fighters and so on. An atheist can be called an unbeliever. A theist can be called superstitious. A man of conviction can be called an extremist. A man of moderation, cowardly. A free spirit can be called a libertine or hedonist. A cautious introvert can be labeled as a stodgy prude. Words are also weapons of judgment, primarily moral judgment. We can say that a man can be freed of sin if he accepts Jesus, and we can also say that he can be freed of irrationality if he does not. A patriot will say that a soldier serves his country, while others may take him to task for his blind obedience. Acts considered murderous in peacetime are hailed as noble in war. Some words can never be rehabilitated. Neither should they be. Evil, incest, abuse, rape, murder. These are all words which describe the blackest impulses of the human soul and can never be turned to a good end. Edmund may say in King Lear, "Evil be thou my good." But we know that he's not speaking paradoxically. He's merely saying that which others call evil, my self-interest, is good for me. The word anarchy may be almost beyond redemption. Any attempt to find goodness in it could well be utterly futile or worse. The philosophical equivalent of the cliched scene in hospital dramas where the surgeon blindly refuses to give up on a clearly dead patient. So maybe I'm engaged in a fool's quest. Maybe the word anarchy has been so abused throughout its long history, so thrown into the pits of incontestable human iniquity that it can never be untangled from the evils that supposedly surround it. So let me ask you, what image springs to mind when you hear the word anarchy? Maybe it evokes mad riots of violence and lawlessness, a post-apocalyptic Darwinian free-for-all where the strong and evil dominate the weak and reasonable. Maybe you view it as a mad political agenda, a thin ideological cover for murderous desires and cravings for assassinations, where wild-eyed mustachioed men with thick hair and thicker accents roll cartoon bombs under the ornate carriages of slowly waving monarchs. Maybe you view anarchy as more of a philosophical specter, the haunted and angry mutterings of over-caffeinated and seemingly eternal grad students. A nihilistic surrender to all that is seductive and evil in human nature, a hurling off the cliff of self-restraint, and a savage plunge into the mad magic of the moment, without rules, without plans, without a future. If your teenage son were to come home to you one sunny afternoon and tell you that he'd become an anarchist, you'd likely feel a strong urge to check his bag for black hair dye, fresh nose rings, clumpy mascara, and dirty needles. His announcement would very likely cause a certain trap door to open under your heart, where you may fear that it might fall forever. The heavy syllables of words like intervention, medication, boot camp, and intensive therapy would probably accompany the thudding of your quickened pulse. And this well may be true, and it could be that I'm thumping the chest of a broken patient long since destined for the morgue. But certain insights, you could say, or maybe correlations, continue to trouble me immensely, and I cannot shake the fear that it's not anarchy that lies on the table clinging to life, but rather the truth. So I'm going to try to communicate to you what troubles me so much about the possible injustice of throwing the word anarchy into the pit of evil. And if I haven't convinced you by the end of this series that something very unjust may be afoot, then I'll have to continue my task of resurrection with others, because I do not for a moment imagine that I will ever convince you to call something good that is in fact evil. Nor would I. Now, the actual meaning of the word anarchy from the Oxford English Dictionary is, number one, absence of government, a state of lawlessness due to the absence or inefficiency of the supreme power. Political disorder. Number 2, a theoretical social state in which there is no governing person or body of persons, but each individual has absolute liberty. So we can see that the word anarchy represents 2 central meanings. Number 1, the absence of both government and social order, and number 2, an absence of government with no implication of social disorder. So in practice, what does it mean to be without government? Clearly, there are 2 kinds of leaders in this world: those who lead by incentive and those who lead by force. Those who lead by incentive will offer you a salary to come and work for them, and those who lead by force will throw you into jail if you don't pick up a gun and fight for them. Those who lead by incentive will try to get you to voluntarily send your children to their schools by keeping their prices reasonable, their classes stimulating, and demonstrating proven and objective success. Those who lead by force will simply tell you that if you don't pay the property taxes to fund their schools, you'll be thrown into jail. Now, everybody can see that this is the difference between voluntarism and violence. The word anarchy does not mean no rules. It does not mean kill others for fun. And it does not mean no organization. It simply means without a political leader. The difference, of course, between politics and every other area of life is that in politics, if you don't obey the government, you're thrown in jail. If you try to defend yourself against the people who come and throw you in jail, well, they will shoot you. So what does the word anarchy really mean? It simply means a way of interacting with others without threatening them with violence if they don't obey. It simply means without political violence. The difference between this word and words like murder and rape is that we do not mix murder and rape with the exact opposite actions in our lives and consider the results normal, moral, or healthy. We don't strangle a man in the morning and then help a little old lady across the street in the afternoon and call ourselves good. The true evils that we all accept, rape, assault, murder, and theft, are never considered a core and necessary part of the life of a good person. An accused murderer does not get to walk free by pointing out that he spent all but 5 seconds of his life not killing someone. With those acknowledged evils, one single transgression changes the moral character of an entire life. You'd never be able to think of a friend who's convicted of rape in the same way ever again. But this is not the case with anarchy. It does not fit in that category of evil at all. When you think of a society without political violence or without governments, these specters of chaos and brutality always arise for us immediately, and it would seem irrevocably. But it only takes a moment of thought to realize that we all live the vast majority of our actual lives in complete and total anarchy. And we call this anarchy morally good. For example, take dating, marriage, and family. In any reasonably free society, these activities do not fall in the realm of political coercion. No government agency chooses who you're to marry and have children with, and then punishes you with jail for disobeying their rulings. Voluntarism, incentive, mutual advantage, and dare we say advertising all run the free market of love, sex, and marriage. What about your career? Did a government official call you up at the end of high school and inform you that you were to become a doctor, a lawyer, a factory worker, a waiter, an actor, a programmer, or a philosopher? No! You were free to choose the career that best matched your interests, abilities, and initiative. What about your financial decisions? Each month, does a government agent come to your house and tell you exactly how much you should save, how much you should spend, whether you can afford that new couch or old painting? Did you have to apply to the government to buy a new car, a new house, that flat screen TV, or a toothbrush? No. In all these areas, love, marriage, family, career, finances, we all make our major decisions in complete absence of direct political coercion. So if anarchy is such an all-consuming, universal evil, why is it the default and virtuous freedom that we demand in order to achieve just liberty in our daily lives? If the government told you tomorrow that it was going to choose for you where to live, how to earn your keep, and who to marry, would you fall on your knees and thank the heavens that you've been saved from such terrible anarchy? The anarchy of making your own decisions in the absence of direct political coercion? Of course not. It's the exact opposite. You'd be horrified and you'd oppose such an encroaching dictatorship with all your might. This is exactly what I mean when I say that we consider anarchy to be an irreducible evil and also an irreducible good. It's both feared and despised and considered necessary and virtuous. If you guys want me to talk more about the reality of anarchy in future videos, let me know in the comments section below. There's a lot more to cover and it's very, very interesting. I'm convinced that if we all get this one truth down deep inside of our hearts and our minds, we can literally change this world for the better. Guys, if you like what we're doing here on this demonetized, censored channel, and you want to support the effort, the Patreon, PayPal, and Bitcoin links are below. If you want to support the channel by grabbing a shirt or two, check out the new in-your-face designs like Black Rifles Matter, Escape from California, Taxation is Legalized Theft, and Sheepvolution. I'm adding new designs every week, and I do take design requests, so check back often. Thank you guys for subscribing, watching, sharing, and especially for all your kick-ass, thoughtful comments. I'll see you guys in the next heavily censored, demonetized video.
Take a ride on the wild side.